I did it when I was assigned to this piece. The first thing that crossed through my mind was absolutely no cliches, because I know very little about Cuban culture. So the first thing I did was I said, okay, no cigars. So from there on, I went down and I did a lot of research. I walked around Ybor, did just seeing as much as I possibly could, just trying to figure out exactly what Cuban history meant and what it could mean. And as a result, I came up with the following piece, as you are seeing. The painting in the background is done entirely in Photoshop. It's a 2D. I did it mirroring a 1930s Cuban painting that I found that was done of Ybor. And the painting itself is of a room in a restaurant called the Columbia. It's been in Ybor since 1905 when it opened. It's very steeped in Cuban culture, and with the history, I brought in the idea of having a classical backdrop with a more modern setting. So even though it's painted in Photoshop, it is still more of a traditional 2D art, whereas the outside is 3D. It's done in a program called Maya. Forgive me, like I said, I'm nervous. So that's the idea of history plays into a whole lot of things. Like as of right now, all of us in this room have history together. So this old man looking at this could be looking at this painting and recall a moment from his childhood. Maybe he went on his first date there. Meanwhile, somebody my age could recall a good time at Gasparilla. And that's basically the gist of it. I was trying to get as much history and the concepts together into a single piece, and I hope you guys like it.
I'm impressed with the level of work that went into it, in that there is the 3D work and the animation and all the things, obviously a bit of research as well. I'm not sure that it does a lot in the way of really saying something or looking into the Cuban culture or the history of that in Tampa. I mean, I'm seeing a room which outside of your description I wouldn't probably gain a lot from. I mean, I think it's visually appealing, and for the most part, I just don't really know a whole lot what to say about it.
That's fair enough, Kate. You
I think I'm starting to see the juxtaposition there that you're playing with, where you have the older style room restaurant, and then it's surrounded by a modern day setting. I think that's I think I see where you're going with that, where you took the Havana Days concept, or Havana Nights is, you know, obviously where that name was drawn from. That's kind of a piece of history, a film, and then Days suggesting what's current, what's going on right now, the day. So that's kind of how I'm taking it. So I think that it's headed in that direction, headed up to, you know, being towards something that's on concept. I think that might need to be more obvious in the future in order for us to get that, because it's something that you've poured a lot of time and effort into, and it makes sense to you. But part of being an artist and a communicator is getting that out of your head and into all of our heads. So I'm starting to see it, but I think you can push it a little bit further, and I think that you did a great job with your research and execution, and can't wait to see what your next piece is going to be.
I don't hold back. I think the most successful thing you did here this evening was explaining yourself succinctly. That's something that, to your credit, I think that you did quite well. The work really, honestly, it let me down. I was expecting quite a bit based on what I saw originally. Here, I don't see the concept. If the concept is as Kate interpreted it, then there's more to it than was immediately obvious. Beyond that, even the execution, to me, it doesn't function as something that is it doesn't function in a utilitarian form or in a purely aesthetic form. So to me, it doesn't function. I do have high expectations for you, so if you make it next week, I'm definitely going to expect you to raise the bar.